Welcome to episode number 19 of the Speaking Podcast. I'm your host, Roy Collin. And this week I have a self-confessed nerd, Bogdan Aldea from Romania, and he explains exactly how to do a technical speech that makes it interesting. You can find us on speakingpodcast.com, also on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Speaking Podcast. And if you find value, share it with your friends. And all the episodes are different, so I would recommend go back to the very start and listen to all of them. And if you like what you hear, you might give us a positive rating, as it helps us get more exposure. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Hi, this is Roy Collin of the Speaking Podcast. And as I mentioned in a previous episode, I would love to have a person from every country. And today I've got a person from a country I haven't interviewed before, from Romania. And his name is Bogdan Aldea?
Aldea.
Yeah. Aldea.
Yeah. I'm actually also a British citizen, so we can come to countries.
All right, okay. But you were born in...
Yeah.
So, to me, you're going down on the book as... So you can tell people who you are, because I prefer that the person introduces themselves rather than me reading off a script.
So my name is Bogdan. I was born in Romania, and I moved to UK with a scholarship when I was doing a master. Then I lived there for 7 years, something like this, and then I moved to Poland 6 years ago, and I live here since then. So my family.
And what did you do the masters in?
Master, it was in computational linguistics, if you can imagine. I worked as a research assistant in this field where I was doing my study, but once I finished my study, I started working in the private sector, so I stopped doing the computational linguistics. So now I'm only a software developer.
Well, I mean, you just insulted every single software developer. That's an amazing job.
Yes.
So, one question I like asking people is what your actually speaking journey, not where you started speaking in Toastmasters, but when you were younger, did you have bad experiences, or were you always kind of...
Well, I can say that I started speaking, saying that the small babies, the way they are communicating is by crying. And I start from early age, like a few days. My mom was saying that I was crying all the time, making sure that everybody is listening to me. and I was born in a small village, and my parents, they owned a pub, so everybody knew me, and I didn't know everybody, but I knew a lot of people knew me, so they all the time talking with me, strangers. So I was kind of used to speaking with strangers.
Right.
But I think only at the university, I was part of some student association, and I had to go and speak with a big room with 200 people and trying to promote something a student might not want to do. They are not really engaged, so you have to go there and do something so people will get more engaged. But that gave me let's say a base to try different things, because if you go there and you don't know anybody from, it was also at a different university, different specialization than mine, so nobody knew me. I could embarrass myself that nobody would say. So I tried different things to see which one worked, and it gave me a room to explore. So my favorite was going to say hello beautiful girl, and people who like beautiful girls. So then everybody is looking at me, paying attention, because all the girls, they consider them beautiful, and who doesn't like beautiful girls? So just to catch them. And then I was talking about totally different things, but something to and I knew that worked only after I tried so many times, so many things, and see that one is working. So and after that I got more confident. So
cool. And when you came here, do you need to do much speaking in your job?
Yes, not so much, but I mean, with my company, I was actually quite one of the oldest employees there. So now it's like a big, like a corporate. So our tech team, it grew, for example, in the last year, like triple the size of people. So we get more and more meetings to share what we are doing, because now at the beginning I knew every single thing what is going on, what every person is doing, but now it's so hard. So if you don't communicate, if you don't do it, if you don't share the information, then you'll have problem later. So you find the hard way that it's better to over communicate. And for me it's a bit, let's say, more challenging because I work remote. So that means I don't have the water cooler discussions, meeting with colleagues. So I have to make sure that when I go to the headquarters, the office, I need to make sure that all the time I'm speaking with people, that the way I'm speaking, and also what I learned in Toastmaster is that also how you listen, make sure that you understand what that person is saying, that, and also how to give a feedback, because you don't want it to give a feedback only for the sake of giving a feedback. If the thing which you're saying is not helping the other person, or you don't bring any value, then it's better to be quiet. Don't say anything.
And why did you join the Toastmasters at the start? What was your reason?
The reason was I joined it for a meeting out of curiosity. It was because I'm not very good at Polish, and here in which there was a meeting with English speakers. So I said, I can go there and meet a few English speakers people, and I found interesting people, and I wasn't really interested on speaking part. I was more interested in leadership part from Toastmaster. So that was the main reason. So for me, the public speaking was only as a bonus. So I was more focusing on leadership.
So you were the president of the leadership club. How did you find that role?
More challenging than I thought at the beginning. So as I said, I was interested in leadership. So I said that in order to develop or to improve is to take a role in the board. So when there were election, I said that, okay, which one to pick? And I said, well, I think president is not so hard, and is basically delegate other people, because when you look at the role description, every single role had like specific things which they have to do and so on. But for president, it's more as a giving guidance to make sure that the teams is working and that there's a communication. So it's more, it's a bit.
You were
more,
taking the easy option. You did.
Yeah. So it's more like ambiguous. So you can get away without. And there were quite few challenging things. So and I don't know if I did a good job or not, but so I wasn't being sucked, so I always take that as a good sign.
I don't know, I think you've done a very good job.
But definitely I learned a lot of things, and that I wouldn't do it without actually trying. So yeah, I really appreciate it for the vote of confidence which people give it to me from the club, because I candidated as a president without being in a board before. So that means people either they trust me, either they were just let's say let's give a chance to this guy and see what he can do. So I'm always grateful for their confidence. So.
And just for the people that aren't familiar with Toastmasters, what happens is that you'd have people that decide they want to go for the election. So for instance, it starts off with the president, and you could have any amount of people. So if there's 5, was it 1 or 2 minutes? 2 minutes, I believe, yeah?
2 minutes.
Yeah, so you have a speech for 2 minutes, and if it exceeds 2, they just end it. You cannot be like 2.5 minutes, and then we all vote afterwards. So yeah, you actually got elected as your first time being on the board, but you done a great job, so it was good. And I seen you did a speech recently. It was kind of technical, and what I find, because I've seen you doing a lot of speeches, is like a lot of people say software engineers and whatever kind of nerdy and they don't deliver a speech, but you're always very entertaining. And can you kind of relay how you do that to people? Because there's some people struggle with that. They can't get people interested. They might have the information, but they don't know how to get a message across in a fun way or in an entertaining way.
Yeah, it's not the first time when people told me that, the tech people I don't understand what they're talking, or they're too techy, and I have some colleagues which they are software developers and they have to speak with the clients, and I was always saying that I was lucky that I didn't have to speak with the clients, because we develop software for our website, and we have a sales team which are doing all the sales, so we don't have actual contact with the end user. But we always have meetings with our colleagues, which they have which they use the website, or which they contact with the customers. So they also don't have a technical background. So this is how I think I got better, because talking with them and failing so many times that, have a discussion and they said that, we want these things to do, and to add, for example, a flower in a corner. It's like, okay, that's easy, I'll do it. I do it, and they come to me, it's like, no, this is not what I asked. It's like, you want a flower and in the corner? And it's like, no, we want it totally different. So I realized that maybe I have to all the time trying to see the world from the eyes of person which is in front of you. So don't take all the knowledge which you have. Use the knowledge which you have only when you ask a question. Yeah, because then that will help you to formulate the question, and that will help trying to share the knowledge by putting a question. So, for example, do you want that flower to be blue, red, to change color, to have these petals, or we can do this, which options, or why do we actually want the flower in the first place? Yeah, and if I would ask these questions that time, I would know that actually they don't need actually a flower. They just need an okay message or something like this. So and by asking question, and sometimes people I was lucky also to have good friends that they could give me feedback and saying that it's like, what you said, didn't make sense, or don't speak with me with this tone because I don't understand you. Yeah. And when it's coming from a friend, it's different. Yeah, because when you come from a person which you know only a bit, I think it's like, that person had something with me. Why they're doing. But when it's coming from a friend, it might hurt more in that moment, but you can use an exercise like, what do you mean, or how would you expect me to behave, or what if you would be in my place, how would you formulate that question, or something like this. So I think just having a lot of good friends which they help me to let's say polish a bit the tech side of me. So but on the other hand, I never considered myself as a geek when I was younger. And then when after I finished studying and I was talking with one of my colleagues at work, he said that he talked about himself as a geek, and for me that had a negative connotation. And then he explained me why he considered himself as a geek. It's like, okay, I think I'm also a geek, but all the time, all my life, I was trying to hide from that, or run from it, because I was thinking it is a bad thing. But it's just to take the half full of every single thing, or even the sometimes if you have the power to see the quarter full, that's even better. Yeah. So.
I think like if you're doing this speech, it's just you're just talking in a language they understand, because obviously you can speak to each other at a total different level. and that nobody would understand. But when you know that there's a client that's not technical background, you just have to bring it down to their level and just interact.
So when I was as a student, I told you I was doing, and I was all the time when I was a student, I was in student association, and I went once to a workshop for becoming a trainer, because in one association I was responsible for human resources, so I have to work people to do trainings, and I didn't know anything, so I would just go to somebody else and do some workshop. And there were really great people there, and one of the things which they said, it was that you have to connect to the audience. So it was like a weekend workshops, and we at the end we had to prepare a presentation, or I don't remember exactly what we had to do, but there were few categories. So we extracted the categories, what the team and so on, and you extract also some things which you have to incorporate from what we learned. And one thing which was another ball which was there was the audience. So for me it was like that doesn't matter, because you know the most important is what to do. And one I will not lie and say that it was me, one guy who was there had to present something for teenagers, and he came for his presentation. He changed his clothes like a rapper, and he was also doing like the language, like use how's it called, the slang, the slang language for teenagers. And for me it's like I was saying that, like, that's preposterous. How can you do this? It's like a room full of people. They are all like they have PhDs, masters, they have educated people, and how you can do this. And he had a lot of votes for doing that, because he connected to the people. And for me it was a shock. It's like, why? And then I realized, like, well, the last ball which I didn't pay attention, he brought him the best, the most points, because he actually paid attention to that. So that stick to me, and now I'm trying to all the time thinking, is like, what that person knows, or what is the background, from where we start. And it's not always easy, because even if you have to prepare a speech in our club, and I know all the people, it's quite hard to say. When I had a technical speech, it's like, well, there are some which they wrote some software, some didn't. There are different levels, and and my speech was for motivating people. And how do you motivate people where they are different levels? So what I try with that speech, and I hope I succeed. There are two people which they give me feedback, which show me that there was a chance that I succeed. Is that try to have different motivation for different levels. So have something for everybody there, but it's like in the same package. So it's like you have the same package, but it's like a family package. There is something for everybody in the family. So I'm based on those two feedbacks, and everybody's they give me feedback, but two person they actually told me what I was hoping that they would say after my speech. So that was really great. So, and they were at different levels. So that was like, it's like, because if they are at the same level, you would say, you hit only one level, but that was really great. So.
Cool. And how do you prepare your speeches?
The first speech, which I don't know if you've been to my first speech, my icebreaker. I prepared it, I wrote it, I rewrote it, I practiced it, and I practiced it, and but then now I evaluated to a stage that when I wanted to have another speech. So for example, I'm looking at the next project, I see what are the objectives, what are the recommendations, how we can do, then I'm thinking about what to put in the speech. So I'm thinking a lot about it, and I don't write down at the first place. So only later putting down some ideas. So in meaning that only the good ideas stay with me, and then I'm still thinking about the idea, on the shapes of the ideas, on how to join those two things. So you had two great ideas for the same speech, but they're not always, you can't incorporate them in a 5-minute speech. So you think on how to do it, or what part is more important, and after once it's getting closer to deliver the speech, I try to write down some ideas, and sometimes I'm just putting only some notes, like give an example of this, but sometimes I'm just putting like paragraph on how to formulate it, and sometimes things which I don't feel comfortable, or things which I think they are really important, they are I'm repeating them, and I'm repeating, but not like to learn it by heart. So I'm repeating them, but not like prepare. So for example, and even when I'm driving, I'm thinking on how to formulate that paragraph, and later on when I go back home, I'm looking at what was written in the first place, and it looks different, and it's like, oh, so this is how we evaluated, because if you learn it by heart, you can deliver the speech, but the most important is the message. So because I was keep repeating in my head and so on, you don't remember the words, but you try to keep the same idea, and then when you check it with what you have written, you realize like, oh, actually what evaluated, it was something better, or it was always is a bit too far from, that doesn't match with the rest of the speech. So I'm also trying to repeat the speech a few times, so just to have it from beginning till the end, to have an idea about the time, because this is something which I'm still a bit working, because I'm trying to respect the time, and sometimes I'm thinking so what if I'll go there 20 more seconds more and so on, but you don't know how your audience will react. So you have the speech prepared, and you might have somebody in the audience that is asking you a question or is giving you an idea. Then what you do is just block that person, and then you lost all the audience, because people will think it's like you don't have the contact with the audience. So you have to leave some room for like a buffer. So there are always some ideas which are dropping from the speech, which I think that they are not that important, but sometimes I discover that I use them, because the first part, which I was thinking that it would take a bit more time, because I had some questions for the audience, and there was like straight answers, and then it's like, okay, I have to carry on with my speech, but then I put it back, some ideas which I dropped, or it happened to me once that actually one idea, which was the main idea which I want to put in the speech, I forgot to put it, and I used the one which was dropped. So it's like it's good to have some backup. So this is what I'm doing.
And it's actually interesting you said that, because on Wednesday we had a guest who was the very first time at a meeting, and as one of the speakers was doing his speech, halfway through it, the guest asked him a question, but it was Christoph, and he was able to actually answer it and get back to his speech, but it could easily throw somebody else. So it's good to be aware of that.
And what is more important for me in a speech is the introduction, the beginning, and the ending. I'm trying to combine these two things, so to have some elements, some common elements, so like an idea or words or expression, to use it just to bring people to have it in a circle. And what I'm trying with the ending is it's like a punchline, all the body of the speech is preparing for the punchline. So if it's like it's a joke, if it's a good punchline, you make people laugh. And I'm not saying that my speeches are humorous and trying to make people laugh, but if you have a good punchline, people remember it.
Yes.
So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm not focusing on one sentence which people will take, because as I said, the people, they have different backgrounds, and they might take one sentence from my speech which I'm delivering them, and they might do different things which I didn't intend to. It's like, no, my idea was different. Yeah, you took the sentence, but I'm trying to make people think about and see if I can make a change, and see if I can change a person after they heard my speech.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is really hard to do, but it's good to have this kind of endpoint. So we're trying to achieve that, even if it's really hard. So, and not to have like
I love that, because
things, so
it's I think it's an important thing that
Yeah.
you're giving a message and you're trying to make improvement. So like I know that you've done a charity not so long ago. You were actually done a huge cycling trip,
Yeah.
and you might give a quick synopsis of what you did for that, and then my follow-up to that is, because you're a public speaker, what are you doing in life to make the world better?
So the charity, it was for Don't Wish Foundation, which is an orphanage for kids with special needs. It's unique in Poland, and I visited them a few times in the past, and I trying to, because I wanted to improve my Polish, because I speak English at home, at work, and I don't get in contact with so much with Polish language, only when I do shoppings. And I said, I can do some volunteer work, and people cut me some slack if I do mistakes and so on, because and I tried to work with them, but it was really hard, because I was thinking it's easier, but if you take care of some kids with special needs, you need to make sure that you understand them properly. That is not something which you can do just I can whatever, it's like.
Yeah.
So I was in touch with them, and then when at my work there was this cycling trip from London to Amsterdam, and there were all expenses paid and everything. The only thing which you had to do it was to raise money for charity, which charity you want. So for me it was no brainer. I just contacted them and said, look what I want to do, and I got a huge response from a lot of people, and I didn't expect it to this. And I think also people liked it that I'm a foreigner and try to help something locally, and people were like, oh, look at him, he's trying to do something for the Polish people. They said, look, trying to do something for us, let's help him, and I got a lot of help from that. So
and you were very creative in your marketing, promoting as well, because you had two teddy bears.
Yeah. Actually, the teddy bear video. For people who didn't know, they give me the teddy bears from the foundation, because they got married and they wanted to have their honeymoon. So I had an idea to ask people for a postcard. So I said, well, if I'll put just something on Facebook, they will just they might do it or not. So then I had an idea to create the video. I put the video, and that had a huge impact on I think that was the main thing which drove so many donations, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I think at that point people realized something which I didn't plan, or that wasn't my idea of having the video. People realized that there was a connection between me and that charity, because as I said, I was foreigner and there was charity here, that people was like, they didn't saw the link, and then they could see that actually I really care about them. So that really helped. So it was good.
No, it was impressive. So regarding the future for making the world a better place? What's your plans?
I had once a crazy plan. It's still standing. So I think it was when I joined the Toastmaster, and there was the contest, and then the international speaking contest, and then I went to Wrocław and for the division conference, and I saw some great speakers, and one of them, I forgot his name, that it started as a Toastmaster, and then he was a finalist, or was a second place, and international speaking contest, and then he's like a professional speaker. So and I said that, oh, I can also go to this contest, and if I'm good, I'll go further. And I said to myself that if I will go further and further, and then people will see me as like, oh, you're good because you got some awards, or if they would invite me to do some paid speeches, I would donate all the money which I would get as a speaker. So now now I'm going to the competition for international. So and actually I forgot about it. Now you ask me, I remember that this is what I said. The first when I joined Toastmaster, that was only a dream, because at that time I couldn't join the competition because I was just joined Toastmaster, so I didn't know exactly what to do and so on. But that was in back of my mind, and now I remember. And now you get me. I will participate in the competition, but now you remind me, so there's more pressure.
and not just me, the whole world is after you, after telling everybody. So what I would suggest is, no matter what, because there's two competitions, there's evaluation and the speak, they're both, but every time keep going till you get to the different levels. So you might get the area.
Already signed up for both.
Excellent. Yeah.
Is only when I think the competition is the place where you can evaluate your level, because everybody's trying to do their best. Yeah. So if you go normal meetings, people, they might have a bad day, they might have it like last minute speech and so on. And when you compare with the others, like where I was better than them, worse. And but when you go there, it's like people are going with their A game, so you need to step up to. And also is then you get comfortable giving speeches in your club. So then it's like going a bit of outside of comfort zone. So that is also helpful for developing yourself. And I'm saying that, but when I signed up for the competition, which was 2 days ago, I was thinking like, for the first stage is the competition inside the club, and then the area, and I was thinking like, so if I will pass the club competition and I'll go further in the area, there will be people from all the clubs there hitting me like, oh no. So I already got scared. So but I think is that feeling of being scared or unknown, that is also motivating me. So I'm hoping that everybody will keep fingers crossed for me.
Of course, yeah. and now that we all know that when you get to the final, whether it's this year or in a few years' time, every penny is going to go to charity.
Well, I didn't say that I wanted to go to the final because let's be realistic. I said that if that will bring me recognition, or people will see me and will invite me to be as a speaker and will get some money. That can happen even if people will see me in the area contest. So fingers crossed.
But why can't you get? I mean, I'm after getting into the final with the humorous speech. Yeah. So there's no reason why you can't, because it's just a few levels and you get through. So I wish you the best, and I thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Take care. So I hope you enjoyed the episode with Bogdan. As always, you'll find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at Speaking Podcast, our website, speakingpodcast.com. If you got value from this, share it with your friends. And if you liked it, please give a positive rating on iTunes or whatever platform you're listening to. If you have any queries, you can reach us at roy at speakingpodcast.com. Until next week, have a fantastic day.